Hi, everyone. Hi, boys and girls. This is Miss Latoya Dowdell-Berger. I am the VP for Groveport Madison Schools. Vice President means board Vice President. I guess I should have said that. I hope your day is going great. I'm not sure if it's morning or afternoon, but whatever part of the day it is, I hope it's amazing. So, our book for today is a computer called Katherine. Now, this book is written by Susan Slade and is illustrated by Veronica Miller Jameson. If I can get it open. Everywhere she went, Katherine counted. She counted her steps to church. She counted the plates on the dinner table. She even tried counting the stars in the sky. There is Katherine counting. Most important of all, Katherine counted the days until she could start school. Finally, at age 5, she followed her brother hundreds of steps to the 2-room schoolhouse. An excellent student, Katherine devoured thick books and added numbers at the speed of light. So the teacher decided she would skip first grade and start in second. But Katherine was such a fast learner, she later skipped fifth grade too. Wouldn't it be good to skip a grade? and before you could say mathematician, magician, she was a grade ahead of her older brother. So there's the schoolhouse, and there's Katherine, the illustration of Katherine and her family. Katherine loved math because it was easy to see if an answer was right or wrong. Meanwhile, most everyone in town was arguing about right and wrong. Some people said it was wrong for children with different skin colors to attend the same school. Others said it wasn't right for women to work at the same jobs as men. The argument seemed wrong to Katherine, as wrong as 5 plus 5 equals 12? She believed everyone should be treated the same, so she kept working hard in school and dreamed of a future when all people would have equal rights. Katherine finished 8th grade when she was only 10 years old, but her town didn't have a high school for black students. Determined to keep learning, she counted the dusty miles, 120 in all, as her family moved closer to a school she could attend. There, she took an exciting math class called geometry. She learned how points and lines made shapes, triangles, trapezoids, and perfect parallelograms. And her love for math grew exponentially, excuse me. I said that wrong. We adults make mistakes, kids. If you didn't know, we do. At 15, Katherine started college. She flew through every math class at West Virginia State, so a professor taught harder classes just for her. In advanced geometry, she plotted points on a graph. When she connected the points, they created a beautiful U-shaped curve called a parabola. It was love at first sight. After graduation, Katherine became a math teacher. Back then, people said women could only become teachers or nurses, which I know you guys love your teachers because your teachers are amazing, right? Katherine knew that was wrong as 10 minus 5 equals 3. She believed women could be anything, scientists, lawyers, or mathematicians. So she set out to prove it. Katherine discovered a research center in Virginia that was hiring women mathematicians. They were called computers because they made calculations that helped the men engineers design planes and flight plans. To Katherine, it added up to the perfect job. All day long, she punched buttons on the calculator just like the other women. She solved math equations just like the other women. She wrote answers on a huge data sheet just like the other women. But Katherine wasn't like the other women. She asked questions, lots of questions. What were the calculations used for? Why are they important? How did her answers help design the airplanes in flights? The men engineers noticed the woman who asked intelligent questions and how quickly she solved difficult math problems. So they asked Katherine to join their space team. Its mission: send America's first astronaut into space. How cool is that? Katherine said yes. Then she discovered that women weren't allowed to attend the group meetings. She knew this was wrong as well. As wrong as 5 times 5 equals 20? We know that's not right. So she asked if she could go. Women don't ever go to those, the engineers replied. She said, is there a law against it? No. So Katherine showed up to the next meeting, ready to work. Astounded by her geometry skills, the team asked her to calculate when America's first space flight should blast off. Katherine agreed, but first she asked questions like, where should the rocket splash down? How high should it fly? When should it land? With that information, Katherine carefully computed the rocket's flight path, a beautiful U-shaped curve. Next, she worked backwards to figure out the time it should blast off. Then she began counting the days until launch. On May 5th, 1961, which a lot of us weren't born. I wasn't even born. You weren't born. But maybe someone in your family, maybe like a grandma or a great aunt or something. But on May 5th, 1961, Alan Shepard blasted off. Following Katherine's flight path, he soared into the silvery sky. 15 minutes later, he splashed down in the Arctic Ocean, right on schedule and right on target. Look at that. Remember, she loves the U-shaped curve, right? Soon, Americans began dreaming of a longer flight around the entire Earth. To figure out the math for this long, complicated trip, engineers decided to use their new room-sized computer that worked much faster than people. But astronaut John Glenn, who's actually from Columbus, Ohio, that was what the airport was named after, our local airport. But astronaut John Glenn trusted Katherine more than a machine. He wouldn't step one foot onto the rocket until she said the computer's calculations were correct. Happy to help, Katherine checked every number. On February 20th, 1962, which again, you and I probably weren't born yet, John Glenn became the first astronaut to orbit Earth. And this is a great story because Mr. John Glenn, again, is from here, from Ohio. Then people began wondering if an astronaut could travel all the way to the moon. Both the Soviet Union and the United States wanted to be the first to land there and win the space race. Katherine knew this flight would be incredibly long and dangerous. Every calculation would have to be perfect. One math mistake and the rocket would zoom right past the moon. As NASA's computer hummed and computed a flight path to the moon and back, Katherine went to work too, double checking the machine's calculations. But this was the most complicated geometry problem she'd ever seen. One of the points, the spacecraft was flying incredibly fast. Her target, the moon, was constantly circling Earth while spinning. Some people thought the problem was too difficult to solve, but Katherine knew that was wrong. As wrong as 25 divided by 5 equals 4. She calculated and computed. She plotted and planned. She created a bold, brave path all the way to the moon and back. Ten, 9, ignition sequence starts. Heart racing. Katherine leaned close to the small television screen. 7, 6, 5. She held her breath as powerful flames exploded on the launch pad. 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. The rumbling rocket slowly rose above the ground, above the smoke, above the clouds, and then disappeared into the ink black space. Four days later, as Neil Armstrong took his first steps on the moon, Katherine smiled and began to count. Girls are capable of doing everything men are capable of doing. If you want to know, ask a question. There's no such thing as a dumb question. And that is Miss Katherine. Here's some pictures of her. And the same applies if you're African American. You are capable of doing anything that anyone else is doing. Thank you guys so much. You have a great, great, great day. Be amazing. Do your best. Put your best foot forward. And till next time, thanks.